Call Halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah. Double honors to the head apostle, the great millstone, who taught me this truth according to the Bible, along with these sincere brethren that's also laboring and doing the work as well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect, you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans who are scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Peace be unto you. Shalom. The topic of this lesson today is going to be about Esau, Edom. Who is Esau, Edom, according to the Bible? All right. Now, if you don't have an idea, look at the flag. Yeah. So let's get into the scriptures and prove it. All right. Let's first go to. Come on. Jeremiah, the 49th chapter, verse 10. And it reads, But I have made Esau bare, I have uncovered his secret places, and he should not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Alright, so the Most High is exposing Esau. And how is he doing that? Well, through the scriptures. Let's go to Genesis 36, verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom, as you saw in the opening pic with the Confederate flag. Esau is Edom, and he dwelt in Mount Seir. So where is Mount Seir? If you do a little Google research, and you type in Mount Seir, you pull this up. So this is Mount Seir. Look at this architecture right here. Now this was built maybe, I don't know, 3,000 to 4,000 years ago. That architecture right there, yeah. In the clefts of the rock. Keep that in mind, clefts of the rock. But also, if you look to the left, over here to your left, it's hard to see, but at the top it says, ain't nothing new under the sun, because what they did with Mount Seir 3,000 to 4,000 years ago, they did today. As you see on the right, you see Rome with the same architecture. You see Great Britain with the same architecture. And look, even the White House with the same architecture. So, who is that? Who is Esau? As you can see, their architecture doesn't change. Alright. Read this. Esau or Edom, first dwelling place was in Mount Seir. The structure there looked familiar. If Esau was an Arab man, don't you think his structures would resemble some structures that are in Arab land? Esau, Edom, Idumea are all the same. Yeah, and Idumea is also Edom in Greek. Alright, so let's continue. Let's continue in the scriptures. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go to Genesis 25 to the not all the way to the beginning, but pretty much the beginning. Alright, this is Genesis 25 and 19. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel the Syrian, and Padan Aram, the sister of Laban the Syrian. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived, and the children struggled together within her. And she said, If it be so, why am I thus? She was like, if this was supposed to be a blessing, then why am I having birth pains? Right? And she went to inquire of the Lord, and the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other, and the elder shall serve the younger. So let's see who comes up first. And when her days to be when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb, and the first came out red all over like a hairy, and they called his name Esau. So the first one came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. 26, and after that came his brother out. And they didn't mention anything about how his brother looked, so he must have looked normal, right? And his hand took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 old when she bare them. All right, 80 means 60. All right. So we know that the elder was supposed to serve the younger, right? And the first one came out red all over like a hairy garment. Now let's go back to Google. And you check out a newborn baby. that's what a red baby looks like. Red all over like a hairy garment. Look at this little bastard here. A little demon baby. That's Esau right there. That is your seed of the devil. Alright. That's him. Now, let's get into the characteristics. This is 27. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. Now Jacob is the forefather of the so-called black man, Native American, and Latino man. All right. Jacob had 12 sons. Okay. 28. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Now at the beginning of 27 it says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field. These are subtle clues to pinpoint you to this man right here. He was a cunning hunter. Now this is what Esau loves to do. He loves to kill for fun. You see? Now you can't eat these animals, but he likes to kill for sport. Kill unnecessary animals, for no reason at all. And no one's doing this other than the so-called white man. All right. Who is Esau? If you haven't got the picture. All right. So we know that Esau was a cunning hunter. Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. All right. So let's continue on. Verse 29. And Jacob sought pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. For I am faint. Therefore his name was called Edom, because he liked red pottage. Now that red pottage is actually going into red meat, and we'll get into that later. Verse 31. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? So Esau was like, to hell with my birthright, which came with the blessings. Give me this faint, this undone red meat, because I'm about to faint. You see? Verse 33. And Jacob said, swear me this day. And he swore to him, and he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Dumbass. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage and lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Yeah, what a dumbass. Now let's go to the New Testament. This still plays a part even to this day, heavily. All right, where's Hebrews? This is Hebrews 12 and 16. And it reads, lest there be any fornicator or profane person, profane meaning outside the temple, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. For ye knew how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, though he sought it carefully with tears. So this dumbass sold his birthright for some raw stinking meat. Like, damn. Like, you had to like, just think of his children now looking back on this and being like, damn, my forefather sold the birthright that I had for some goddamn meat. What a damn shame. Now I see why so much hate and envy between so-called white man and black man, because in your soul you hate Jacob because you sold your birthright. You see, he tricked you out of your birthright, and that's why you're in rulership today, because of deceit, and you're jealous because we were given the birthright. You see. Now let's go back to Genesis. As a matter of fact, I want to show you a video. Damn. This is Hebrew 12:16 again. It says, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. Now Esau loves red meat. Alright. Esau likes his meat rare. I'll show you a clip showing you how Esau gets down with his meat.
Carcass smells rotten, move on. But this meat is fresh and a great source of energy.
And this is so tough, the skin. But look at under all of this. I gotta peel the skin back.
Eating raw meat can put you at risk from botulism or E. coli. Very nasty and potentially life-threatening infections.
And this is actually how a lot of early man used to hunt. They actually weren't great hunters. They were actually good scavengers.
Damn right, because they came out of caves. These were the original cavemen.
Pickers of berries. And opportunistic, following out where lions would eat. That's a nasty bit.
There's Esau to the core, man. Now let's go back to the scriptures. Man, this file is all get out. All right, let's go to the book of Job. Book of Job, chapter 30. And this is going into the so-called white man Esau, back when they were in the caves, back when they were despised and they were pushed back into the caves. And it reads, for want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time desolate and waste, who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief. So people back then ran these Edomites off, the so-called white man. Alright, they ran them off in verse 6. And they ran them in the caves to dwell in the cliffs of the valleys and in the caves of the earth and in the rocks among the bushes they brayed. Under the nettles they were gathered together. They were children of fools, children of base men. They were viler than the earth, as you can see. And they were children of fools because, as you see, Esau sold his birthright like a dumbass. And he found repentance. But fast forward to today, verse 9. And now I am their song. You so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are their song. Yeah, I am their byword. Yeah, we are called, what, niggas, spics, coons, wetbacks, savages. These are all bywords put on us by the so-called white man. Verse 10, they abhor me, they flee far from me, and spare not to spit in my face. Yeah, these white people hate you. They don't want to be around you. Alright? So let's go into the white man Esau. Let's go back to Genesis 27th chapter. We'll start at 38th verse. And this is going into the blessing, all right? Remember, Jacob got the blessing. He implanted Esau for his blessing, okay? So let's see what Esau was blessed with. 38, and Esau said unto his father, hast thou but one blessing? My father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above, and by thy sword shalt thou live, okay, and shalt serve thy brother. Remember, it said that the elder will serve the younger, and shalt serve thy brother, and shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. All right, so let's break down. Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth. And what does that mean? Well, that means that Esau would be dwelling in the best places in the earth, and he would have dominion. So who is in rulership right now? It would be no other than the so-called white man. Who is Esau? You see, his blessing would be the fatness of the earth, and by the sword he shall live. Now, how did he get this land? By the sword, right? Didn't he come over here and rape, rob, and pillage these so-called natives and take their land, who were a part of the tribe of Israel? You see. So his blessing was the sword, and by that sword he was gonna live. All right. Didn't he come and steal the slaves from the west coast of Africa, the Israelites, and bring them back over to the Americas captive? You see. So this man had a great sword, and he by his sword he was used to punish the nation of Israel, as you can see. All right. And it says, and it shall come to pass when thou shalt have dominion, which he has dominion now, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. Now this is talking about during the dark ages. They don't tell you this in school or in history class or whatever. That the so-called black man, who were the Israelites, actually ruled the continent of Europe after the fall of Rome for 1,000 years. It was called the Byzantine Empire, and they were called Moors at the time. All right, but they started guys. Therefore, the Most High sent a black plague on the Israelites, and that allowed the so-called white man Esau to come out of the caves of the rocks and to pretty much gain control and seize control of the kingdom. And that's where we are today. That's why it says, when thou shalt have dominion, thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck, because we had the so-called white man in derision for 1,000 years. See, after the fall of Rome. That's why they won't teach you that in history class. All right, now let's go to 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith he blessed his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will slay my brother Jacob. Damn. And that is till this day. That's why you see the so-called black man, Latino, and natives going through so much hell. That's why the black men are always at the bottom. That's why they're being shot by the cops, you see, with no justice. It's because you're living under the hand of your oppressor, your enemy. All right. Now let's go to let's further prove this, man. Let's go to the book of Obadiah. the book of Obadiah concerning Edom. Oops, too far. Now this is a whole book concerning Edom. Esau, Edom. Alright. This is the vision of Obadiah. Thus saith the Lord power concerning Edom, who was Esau. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Verse 3, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Now who is the most prideful being on the planet? None other than the so-called white man. Alright, that's why they said they're proud to be an American. Alright, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Now we just read in Job 30th chapter that they were driven forth from among men to dwell in the clefts of the rock. Okay, whose habitation is high. You saw in Mount Seir in the beginning in that picture that they like to build high architectures. Okay, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And this is the pride of the so-called white man. Verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. Now first, let me get it, man. Does not the so-called white man exalt himself as the eagle? Does he not? Now, of course, you can look on the back of your quarter. On the back of your quarter, you see eagle, right? Eagles. Now, why is this eagle so predominant, you know? And also, the eagle is symbolic to ancient Rome. As you can see, America has an eagle. Edom, ancient Edom has an eagle. Rome has an eagle. Nazi has an eagle. So all this stuff ties in together, man. You see? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said the Lord. Now let's go to Malachi. And this is going to go into the fall of Rome and all the way up to the Renaissance. And it reads, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, said the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Said the Lord. Yet I loved Jacob. Yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. This is going back to the fall of Rome. Remember, I told you that the so-called black man ruled the continent of Europe for 1,000 years after the fall of Rome. That's what that's going into. Verse 4, whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. And that's what they did. Okay, that happened during the Renaissance. And here we are today. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. They shall call them the border of wickedness, and a people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever. Okay, and your eyes shall see, and ye shall say, the Lord will be magnified from the border of Israel. Okay, so the so-called white man got back into power. Esau got right back into power 1,000 years after the fall of Rome, and here we are today in the midst of deception. This was the devil that was prophesied in Revelation to deceive the nations throughout the four corners of the earth. All right, so now that you understand that, well, hold on, let me go back. Sorry, my bad. I gotta point out something. Verse 4, it says, the bill I would throw down, they should call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. Alright, so keep that right there. They should call them the border of wickedness. Now we go back to Job. This is Job 9:24. And it says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. See? He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? As I was saying, the so-called white man came back into power, which was called the Renaissance, the rebirth, 1,000 years after the fall of Rome, after we were taken out of power. All right, then came into rulership. Okay, so it's saying right here, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Because what they did once they came into power again, they changed the images of the true prophets from so-called black man into so-called white man. They made our images into their images, and this is where the deception began. All right, this is where the whole image of Caesar Borgia, who was portrayed as Jesus Christ today, was created during this period, during the Renaissance. That's why it calls them the wicked. You see, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They go about speaking lies as soon as they're born. I forgot what verse it is, but it is a verse concerning the wicked, the so-called white man. All right, so let's get one more. This is 2nd Esdras 6 and verse 7. It says, then answered I and said, what shall be the pardon of sunder of time? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Abraham, or from Abraham unto Isaac is what it's supposed to say. Because these devils, these demons, they don't want you to know the truth, man. So they go in here and they change scriptures. It's supposed to say from Abraham unto Isaac. And as much as Jacob and Esau were born of him, for Jacob's hand held the heel of Esau from the beginning. For Esau is the end of this world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. You see? So Esau is in rulership in this world, and Jacob will be ruling. Jacob, the so-called black man, native and Latino, will be ruling in the next world to come. All right? So they don't want you guys to come into power, so therefore they had to deceive the nations. All right, verse 10, the beginning of a man is his hand, and the end of a man is his heel. Between the heel and the hand seek thou not else. Esdras. Okay, so basically, when Esau came out first, Jacob came out holding his heel, signifying that he was going to pull him out of power. And that was going to be the time of Jacob, when he would rule, you see. Now, Jacob ruled once, but, this time is going to be a permanent rule, okay? And the so-called white man Esau knows his prophecy, or knows his fate, which is to go into slavery. Now, I can't remember. Let me see if I can type it out. Oh yeah, Micah 2, that's right. He said, woe to them that devise iniquity, the work evil upon their beds, because the morning is light and they practice it, because it is in the power of their hands. Okay, because the Most High gave the earth into the hand of the wicked. Verse 2, and they covet fields as they did with America, and they take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Therefore said the Lord power, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go wholly, for this time is evil. Okay, so this is the fate of the so-called white man for all the rape, robbing, pillaging, and murdering that you have committed, and you thought that you were going to get away with it. You thought you were going to get away with it. Now let me get another verse, because Most High has not forgot. Yeah, this is Psalms this is Psalms 50 and 21. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. And that is what's going on currently. You white people thought that the Most High was on your side. Meanwhile, he was setting you up the whole time, you see. Now, the average Jake, or the average so-called white person, does not know that they've been set up, okay? And a lot of coming to the realization that this is their end, this is the end of their kingdom, and they're about to go into slavery, all right? What is that? Bear with me, I'm gonna get one more verse and I'm gonna close it up. Yeah, here we go. Let me highlight it real quick. This is Isaiah 14, and this is talking about the king of Babylon, which is Esau, and Babylon is America in this text. Isaiah 14:1, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them. We're just talking about the scattered Israelites, the Gentiles. Alright. And they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them, and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. And this is the land of the Lord is the word is coming up, the word of Jacob. Alright. Continuing on, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from thy hard bondage, wherein thou wast made to serve. Alright, that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, which is Esau, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased? The golden city ceased. The golden city is America. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked. Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted, and none hindereth. The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yeah, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no fellas come up against it. Yeah, so once you white people get laid down, man, even the trees are gonna rejoice, because you're cutting down all the fucking trees, man. You ruined the economic, the economy, the economic system, the ecosystem, So you had to be put down. Somebody got to stop you from all your madness. All right. Verse 9, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee and thy coming. It stirred of the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from the thrones all the kings of the nations. Okay, this is talking about in the future. All they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Okay, art thou become like unto us? Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the nose of thy vials, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. You see? So you people about to go through slavery. You're gonna be brought back to a base level, because that's what you were in the beginning, and that's how it's supposed to be. And so that's the origin and the fate of Esau, so-called white man. Hope you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were edified. Till next time I say shalom.